Good afternoon. I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching. There's been civil unrest in the United Kingdom over the past few days, and this is the third night, and this is over in Northern Ireland. This is over an alleged attack that happened on a miner in Northern Ireland in Ballymena, and it was by Romanians or Roma people, and this is one of the prices that we pay for diversity, I think. I'm sure we'll be told in due course not to look back in anger and don't be a racist. That's the standard party line, and that's the standard Party response. It's curious that the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom has been silent in this particular matter. We've had a statement from the First Mistress of Northern Ireland, Michelle O'Neill, the nationalist leader of Storms. She's put out a statement saying that sectarianism and racism has no place in Northern Ireland. I think she's got a damn cheek. Okay, she was part of the IRA and she used to march for them, and she is a separatist, she is a nationalist, and I think she's got a damn cheek if she thinks that she can put out a statement to say sectarianism has no place in Northern Ireland. Well, you'd know all about that, wouldn't you? Anyway, I digress. There was a TUV MP, Jim Allister, and he was asked to go on to Newsnight about the unrest in Ballymena as the local MP. And then they cancelled on him, and they still ran the story. They referenced him, but denied him a right of reply or a voice. They had two MPs on from the mainland, but nobody from Northern Ireland. This is unacceptable, and this is what they do all the time, and they do it so they can shape a narrative and they can colour what you think, or at least nudge you in the direction they want you to go. And I'm going to play you a quick clip now of what they put out, the nonsense that they put out on the biased Brussels Broadcasting Corporation.
Well, I think what we're seeing in Ballymena is basically a very dangerous development, not least because we live at a time when populists, nationalist populists, are using social media to exploit events like this.
Nationalist populists. What's wrong with being a popular political movement? What's wrong with doing what the populace wants? That's how you're meant to get things done in democracy, by ruling by popular votes. You give the people what they want. Nobody has ever asked for or voted for mass migration. This started with the expansion of the EU into the east, into the poorer countries, and that was done specifically for diversity reasons, and the European Union wanted to expand its territory eastwards, and look how that worked out. Look how that worked out with Russia. Alright? Actions have consequences. Alright? Let's see what else she's got to say.
To whip up more discord and more violence. You've seen that in America. The playbook has been brought over to Europe.
Yeah, it's not like America at all. The protests in America are against a democratically elected president actually delivering what he was elected on, which is mass deportations. You'll find in America the riots over there are being described as mostly peaceful. The riots in the UK, which is the opposite, where we're getting immigration imposed upon us and we never voted for it. We're the extremists. If you listen to this bint, if you listen to the mainstream media, we're the extremists.
Quite deliberately by political parties or political extremists. So it's certainly...
Yes, it's politically extreme to believe in the nation state. It's politically extreme to want a, cohesive, homogenous society. That is extreme, according to this bint. Now, nobody ever voted for your manifesto. Nobody ever voted for the plans that you're implementing. So let's see what else you've got to say.
Very concerning. And it also underscores the stresses that are really bubbling in the UK today, both politically and economically. And they, of course, they're very entwined.
Right. This one, okay, She doesn't understand that all of the stuff that she's going on about there, all of the stuff that she's going on about there, is their globalist agenda. This is the pushback, this is the blowback from that, alright? If you actually enacted what you was elected to do, which is strong immigration controls, I would say 50,000 a year or less, anybody asking for mass deportations would not be stopped by me. I would not be accusing them of crazy talk. My starting point is 50k a year. Anything else was a waste of my time. Anyway, let's continue. Let's have another look at what's going on here. Jim Allister, as I say, he was refused a right of reply on that programme, and he was refused to actually go on. He did get his say in the House of Commons today, and I'm going to play that now.
By the grotesque.
Point of order, Jim Allister.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. The whole House, as I am, will be appalled by the grotesque and wanton violence which has afflicted Ballymena in my constituency, and also appalled by the sexual assault on a young 14-year-old girl. There can be no excuse for the resulting violence. However, the government must be aware of underlying tensions produced by uncontrolled and often undocumented immigration.
Completely agree. Not a word out of line so far. Completely agree with everything that he's saying so far. Good MP, speaking up for the forgotten majority of the country. And please continue, let's see what else he's got to say.
In that regard, would it be in order to ask that the government should make a statement to this House in what it is going to do to constrain the flow of migrants who legitimately travel under freedom of movement from one EU country to another, in this case into the Republic of Ireland, and then pass unchecked from the Republic of Ireland into Northern Ireland, which has been a contributor, particularly in respect of Romas, it would seem, as to the concentration and the problem that has consequently resulted. None of that excuses violence, but it is a matter of concern to many. So can I ask, how can I obtain a statement from the government as to how it proposes to address that gap in our controlling who comes and who goes from our own country?
Completely agree. As per the Good Friday Agreement that Tony Blair got in place, because of that policy, there is an open border in this United Kingdom between the Republic and Northern Ireland. So whatever Northern Ireland wants, even if we had a robust migration policy on the mainland, because of that open border with the EU, is powerless and it would be futile. Even if we had the most extremist right-wing government imaginable, mass deportations, that would be futile because of that open border on Northern Ireland. Now, I am a unionist through and through. I care about each of the 4 countries in the United Kingdom. My ancestry goes back to era before the partition, so I do have a stake in this. And I think many of the people in Northern Ireland speak for the entire country. Nobody voted for mass migration. Nobody wants it. And it's been done to us. If it was something that was voted for on the ballot box, I would say, well, fair enough. We're in a democracy, it's been voted for. That's not happened. That's never happened. In fact, the British people have voted for the past 30 years at every opportunity to reduce migration, and all we've ever got is more. It's unacceptable. As I say, I agree with the MP when he says violence isn't the answer. It is not the answer. However, I really fear that we are going towards a civil war, and it was completely avoidable. If it turns out that there is a civil war in the United Kingdom in 10 or 15 years down the line, historians will look at policy failure, or policy success of the globalists if you dependence on how you view it. And they will be the villains of the piece. They'll be the people who are on the wrong side of history, locking people up for things they say online and their freedom of expression, and trying to impose their will on countries and places that have never wanted these policies. Anyway, if you think I'm onto something, that these things are just going to get worse and worse, let me know. Comment below, like and subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.